Channel Sports Central will be going over 5 reasons why the Green Bay Packers are going to beat Tampa Bay and win the NFC Championship game and advance on to the Super Bowl, which this is certainly a team that I think is capable of being in the Super Bowl. And definitely this is a Super Bowl team, I would say, considering you got as good of a quarterback as you do in Aaron Rodgers right now. He's definitely playing as good as he ever has, I would say, in his entire career. And this Packers team in general is on fire heading into this matchup. And we're going to be going over 5 reasons why this team is going to make it on to the Super Bowl. And these reasons will be in no particular order. That being said, we're going to start off with number 1, which is going to be Aaron Rodgers, obviously quarterback for Green Bay. He's playing as well as he ever has with this team right now, I would say. If you look at his entire career, 2010 was really good for him. 2011 was a great season. You can name off 2014, but I think this season has been his best so far. 4,300 yards, 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 71% completion rate. Aaron Rodgers is playing out of his mind right now. And really, if you look at his interceptions here, he's got 5 interceptions. I think 2 or 3 of which were in the first matchup when the Packers did play the Buccaneers back in October. If you subtract the interceptions from that game, I think Aaron Rodgers only has 2 interceptions on this season, which is absolutely insane. 48-2 touchdown interception ratio is what Aaron Rodgers would be looking at if he didn't have that terrible game against the Buccaneers the first time. But really, Aaron Rodgers over the course of this season, other than that Tampa Bay game the first time, has been outstanding. And this Packers team in general has been super consistent since that pretty terrible game back in October. But this is definitely a much different circumstance. That first game between the Buccaneers and the Packers was way back, almost 4 months ago. So really, it's hard to compare that at this point. So really, for Aaron Rodgers, he's got Devante Adams, Aaron Jones, several other significant offensive players around him to work with, which has been outstanding for him this season. It's also really helped that this team has been pretty healthy for the most part. If you look at this offensive line, they lost Bakhtiari earlier on, which is going to be a bit of a tough loss there, and it has been a tough loss for this team in this postseason. But Aaron Rodgers all around, he's got Devante Adams, who's definitely the best receiver in the NFL. Aaron Jones is a top, I would say, 5 running back in the NFL right now. He's also got several other great players, Allen Lazard, Valdez-Scantling, all of those players. He's had, Tonyan as well. Aaron Rodgers is playing as good as he ever has, I would say, this season, and he's got a huge part in this team right now. Number 2 is going to be Devante Adams, speaking of which, best receiver in the league this season, and he's working with the best quarterback. So Devante Adams certainly has got a lot to work with right now for sure. He continues to improve. He's super experienced in the playoffs. This Packers team in general is super experienced, and we're going to get into more about that in a second. But he's very experienced in the playoffs. We've seen this Packers team make it super far into the playoffs. They just could not make it to the Super Bowl. Like we saw last season, they made it to the NFC Championship game against the Niners, ended up taking a loss. I think it happened in 2016. They made it to the NFC Championship, ended up losing to Atlanta. Happened against Seattle in 2014 as well. So this Packers team has lost 3 straight NFC Championship games. The last time they won one was back in 2010, of course, when they made it to the Super Bowl against Pittsburgh. But otherwise, this Packers team has been a lot of out of luck here in the NFC Championship games in recent history. But this is the first time Aaron Rodgers has been at home for a conference championship game, so there's certainly a lot of an advantage there. Devante Adams is very experienced in the playoffs, though, once again, and he managed Jalen Ramsey, possibly the best defensive back in the league last week, pretty well. He got a touchdown, he got a passing touchdown or receiving touchdown off of Jalen Ramsey last week, so that's certainly a good stat for him. But overall, his 2020 stats, 1,300 yards and 18 touchdowns. Devante Adams has had quite a season for Green Bay. Number 3 is going to be the secondary for this Packers team. Green Bay has one of, if not the best secondary in this league. If you look at the secondary, they got Jair Alexander, who's definitely a big highlight of this defensive secondary for the Packers. He's played very well and very consistent all season. He's had a huge part on this team. Definitely one of the best defensive backs once again in the league. And they're only allowing 174 pass yards per game this season, which is an outstanding stat line. They're 174. That's very, very impressive considering most quarterbacks tend to put up nearly 200 to 250 pass yards per game, especially like Tom Brady and all these other quarterbacks, which the Packers have played very well against some very great quarterbacks. And really, if you look at the Packers overall this season, the defensive secondary's had a huge part in the success for Green Bay. And most people look at this Packers team and think all of their success comes from the offense, but it's definitely not the case there. This secondary for the Packers has been playing outstanding all season long. Number 4 is going to be the rushing core for the Packers. Rushing core has had a huge part in the matchup, or it did have a huge part in the matchup against the Rams. I mean, if you look at how much they rushed against the Rams in that matchup, they played very well in that area. I mean, Aaron Jones played outstanding. Jamal Williams had a huge game. We haven't seen him. Well, we have seen Jamal Williams a decent amount this season, but he played especially well in that game against Los Angeles. And of course, A.J. Dillon, he's questionable for this game, possibly injured, but Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams will have a huge part. I think Jamal Williams is also on the questionable list right now, but I expect him, or it looks like he's going to be playing right now, but A.J. Dillon does remain questionable there. But Aaron Jones, for the most part, is healthy, so that's really good. 2020 stats for both these players: Aaron Jones, 1,400 yards, 11 touchdowns. Jamal Williams, 741 yards and 3 touchdowns. Really, overall, both running backs are great. Aaron Jones, for sure, has had an outstanding season for Green Bay. And lastly, number 5 is going to be the momentum on this Packers side. This is likely the hottest team of all 4 teams remaining. I mean, you got the Chiefs, who are definitely possibly the most talented team, I would say. But overall, this Packers team is probably the hottest team. I mean, if you look at this team's winning streak, they've won 7 straight, which, I mean, of course, we've seen the Bills. The Bills also have a good winning streak going right now. Same thing with the Bucs. But, I mean, this Packers team has gotten better and better over the course of the season. They're easily playing the best that they have all season right now. And this offense is going to be a tough stop. Like, this is going to be a like, the Buccaneers defense is going to have to play outstanding from start to finish in this game if they're going to even think about stopping this Packers offense. Between Aaron Rodgers and Devante Adams right now, this Packers offense is going to be really tough to stop. So this Packers team, I think, is genuinely a huge favorite in this game for me, and I really do think that Green Bay has got a great chance to get the win here. But I will be linking my prediction for this game here in this video here, so if you want to check that out as well, I'd encourage you guys to do so. But then again, I appreciate you guys all watching. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. If you enjoyed this video, slap a like on it, subscribe as well, as it really helps to the channel, and I really appreciate that. But once again, stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll see y'all later.